What's going on, everybody? It's AG here. Today we're going to be taking a look at my top 10 conference sleeper teams. So these are teams that are deep sleepers. These aren't necessarily teams that would be towards the top. All right, when I say sleepers, I'm doing deep sleepers. So we're talking teams that are 10 or lower projected-wise to finish in this conference. So if you're projected to finish 10th or below, you got a shot at this list. Now, there are some conferences in here that are smaller, so I had to pick a team that was 5th and below, but we'll get to that when we get there. What I've done basically, all right, each conference here, I've picked a sleeper team. We're going to talk about what they are projected to be by most sources, and then why do they have optimism? Why could they somehow win the conference? Let's go ahead and get into it. Join me down in the comment section while we're moving along. Let me know your sleepers. Starting in the AAC, the American Conference. Now, this is alphabetical order conference-wise, so we'll start in the AAC. We'll end in the Sun Belt. But in the American, North Texas. All right, so they are projected to finish 11th in the conference, projected to have 5.5 wins. All right, so over or under that. Why them? All right, so why them? Chandler Morris is the reason for optimism here. Chandler Morris, quarterback, transferring over from TCU. All right, so if you have heard this name before, there's a reason. All right, so think back to a couple years ago. TCU made the national championship. Max Duggan became a household name. If Chandler Morris doesn't get hurt in the preseason, Max Duggan doesn't start for TCU. All right, Chandler Morris was named the starter. He gets hurt. Max Duggan gets escalated to the starter. All right, elevated to the starter. And then the rest is history. All right, Chandler Morris kind of tried to start for him last year. It didn't work as well as they had hoped. So he's transferring out, headed to North Texas. Now, North Texas does lose their backfield from last year. Their quarterback's headed to North Texas. They lose a good running back as well. He's headed to James Madison. But in addition to Chandler Morris, they're adding a ton of talent from the transfer portal. And that talent combined with Chandler Morris, they could definitely make some noise in the American Conference, which is frankly wide open. SMU is gone. UTSA is going to take a step back with their quarterback gone. Houston's new coach was at Tulane, so Tulane's going to take a step down. It's there for the taking. All right, now moving on to the ACC. Georgia Tech projected to finish 11th, 5.5 wins again. Why them? Haynes King. All right, so Haynes King, really good quarterback, really good dual threat guy, formerly at Texas A&M. He can do a lot of good things versatility-wise. And look at Georgia Tech last year. They had some pretty competitive games. They played with Georgia for one. All right, a lot of people are going to remember that game. Kind of some reasons for optimism there. And Haynes King being back, I think this team can make some noise in the ACC. Now, I don't have the easiest schedule. It's not going to be easy, but I think it's definitely possible. All right, in the Big 12, West Virginia projected to finish 10th in the betting odds, 6.5 wins. Why them? Garrett Greene. All right, their quarterback, similar to Haynes King, except I think a little better. Really good dual threat guy, arguably one of the top 5 players in the Big 12. I'm surprised to see West Virginia projected to be this low at 10th. I think they have a lot of talent. They did pretty good last year, had about 9 wins. And the Big 12 is wide open in my opinion. There's not really a clear-cut favorite right now. I'd say Oklahoma State or Utah probably. But West Virginia, no reason they can't be in the mix for the Big 12 championship. All right, moving on to the Big 10. Rutgers. All right, so if you watched any of my videos, you know I'm a big fan of Rutgers. Not literally. I'm not a fan of Rutgers, but I'm a fan of this team this year. I think they definitely have a shot to kind of make some noise and shock some people. So why are they on here? They're projected to finish 11th, 6.5 wins. They're definitely going to clear that. Look at their schedule. There is no reason they can't clear that easily. They have arguably the easiest schedule in the Big Ten, arguably one of the easiest schedules in all of Power 4 in the Big Ten. Like, they avoid all of the really tough teams in the Big Ten. They avoid Michigan. They avoid Penn State. They avoid Ohio State. They avoid Oregon. They avoid Iowa. They're avoiding everybody that would potentially stand in their way on the path to the Big Ten championship. There's no reason. I'm not saying this team's going to win the Big Ten, but there's no reason they can't be undefeated going into that Big Ten championship. Their toughest games are going to be USC probably. But why them? In addition to that schedule, they've also got Kyle Monongai. If you even say his name right like that, I'm not really sure. I thought it was Monongai, but I heard some announcers say Monongai one time. So anyways, all right, somebody down in the comment section, if you're a Rutgers fan, let me know how to say it. But anyways, all right, led the Big Ten in rushing last year. He is back, and they've added a couple pieces. Why can I not talk today? They've added a couple pieces in the transfer portal. They're set up for success this year. All right, Conference USA, Louisiana Tech projected to finish 5th. Okay, so this is the one I was talking about. Projected to finish 5th, but 4.5 wins. Why them? Defensive transfers. They have loaded up on defensive transfers in the transfer portal. There's a few teams in a little bit. We'll talk about even more transfers, but what is the easiest way in football in 2024 to go from, the bottom of the barrel to the top of your conference? It's the transfer portal. You can load up on guys, especially at the G5 level. You can bring in P4, P5 guys that were backups, but were 4 or 5 stars going in, but didn't get to play. They're looking to play. They're looking to transfer out. You can bring those guys in. For example, you can see it now. They've got an Iowa State safety coming in. He's definitely going to help out. Among other transfers, I think they could make some noise in the Conference USA. All right, moving on to the Independent. Now, this one's a little iffy because Independent's not really a conference, so the projection is just win total. But UConn projected 4.5 wins. Why them? Nick Evers. All right, pictured here. Started at Oklahoma, transferred to Wisconsin, had offers from pretty much anywhere you can think. Auburn, Florida, like I said, Oklahoma. Things haven't worked out for him so far, but starting at Oklahoma and then, like I said, transferred to Wisconsin. He has a ton of talent. There's a reason teams wanted him when he was coming out of high school. At UConn, he's probably going to get a chance to kind of let it air out, show what he's made of. I think they could get better than 4.5 wins this year. Should be able to clear that mark with Nick Evers at quarterback. Also, they had some other pieces in the transfer portal. I think they'll be okay. All right, moving on to the MAC. Eastern Michigan projected to finish 10th. 4.5 wins. Why them? They have the number 1 transfer class in this conference. All right. NC State running back pictured here, transferring over there. They had a lot of Power 5 guys that could make an immediate impact, probably start for them, and really be, all MAC contenders right off the bat. Now, is it going to come together as a cohesive unit? That's to be determined, but as far as the individual guys they have on their squad, definitely can compete with anybody in the conference. All right, Mountain West. Nevada projected to finish 11th, 2.5 wins. Not really a high bar there to clear. Why them? Similar situation. Adding a lot of Power 5 portal talent. They're adding a running back from Texas, a safety from Texas, whole bunch of Power 5, Power 4 schools, backups transferring to Nevada. And really, this conference was kind of wide open last year. A lot of people associate Boise State with being this power in the G5. They were like 7-6 last year. They started off really slow, went on a good run. Second best team in that conference last year, San Jose State. Their head coach is gone to Arizona. So this conference is kind of wide open. Nevada could make some noise there. They also have a new coach, Jeff Choate. Big fan of him. All right, he brought some guys with him from Texas. He's had a lot of success at other levels as a head coach, not necessarily D1. He hasn't been a head coach yet, but he took the D coordinator job at Texas to kind of get this position eventually. All right, moving on to the SEC, Florida. All right, so like I said, there's a lot of teams that are probably above them that were, within the top 10 that you could argue as a sleeper, but I was really trying to do a deep dive here, deep sleepers. Florida projected to finish 13th. All right, 5.5 wins. Why them? They had flashes last year. I know they really have not lived up to par under Billy Napier, but they've got reasons for optimism, I would say. All right, flashes last year, beat Tennessee, played with Missouri, and they've got a quarterback coming in, freshman, 5-star talent. Now, is he going to start over Graham Mertz right off the bat? We'll see. Graham Mertz did some good things last year, but do you just let the 5-star freshman let loose? I think you might have to. Now, there may be some lumps there, but they could definitely upset some teams this year. We'll see. They're going to play Miami in the non-con. We'll see what happens there. All right, then last but not least here in the Sun Belt, we've got Georgia State, projected to finish 11th, 4.5 wins. Why them? Dell McGee. All right, pictured right here, that is their new head coach. Similar to Fran Brown at Syracuse, all right, coming over from Georgia as a position coach. All right, he was the running backs coach there, Dell McGee at Georgia. Has won him a national championship. All right, he's been highly regarded as a recruiter. I think it was like 2018, 2017. He was the number 1 recruiter in the nation. And he's already proving he can get talent there in the portal. All right, he's bringing a lot of Power 4 guys to the portal, a lot of SEC talent as well. Adding SEC talent to your team in the Sun Belt, no reason you can't make a jump there. So I would say Georgia State is the sleeper in the Sun Belt. But those are my deep sleepers out of each and every conference. Who would you change? Who would you add to this list? And again, there are some teams I would consider sleepers, but they're not on this list because they were projected to have a few more wins and projected to finish higher in certain conferences. But let me know your sleepers down in the comments section. Make sure to like this video and subscribe.